The lost Inca gold of the Langanetes is one of the most enduring mysteries of South America, an elusive treasure said to be hidden deep within the Langanetes Mountains in Ecuador. The treasure's legend is tied to the tragic story of Atahualpa, the last Inca emperor, and the Spanish conquistadors led by Francisco Pizarro. In 1532, Atahualpa was captured by the Spanish after the infamous Battle of Cajamarca. Seeing an opportunity to leverage his freedom, Atahualpa offered a ransom of unimaginable wealth. He promised to fill a room 22 feet long by 17 feet wide with gold, and another 2 rooms of similar size with silver. Desperate to save their emperor, the Incan people began gathering treasures, gold from the temples, religious relics, and gold objects from across the vast empire to offer to the Spanish. The value of the amassed gold was incalculable and would be worth billions of dollars today. According to the legend, Rumiñahui, one of Atahualpa's most trusted generals, was entrusted with transporting the treasure to Cajamarca. The Spanish, however, betrayed Atahualpa and executed him before the ransom could be fully delivered. Upon learning of the emperor's death, Rumiñahui reportedly diverted the treasure away from Cajamarca, heading deep into the Langanetes Mountains to hide it from the advancing Spanish. He and his men transported tons of gold into the steep, treacherous terrain and hid it so well that it has never been found. The Langanetes Mountains are among the most challenging landscapes in South America, remote, uninhabitable, and characterized by misty peaks, dense jungles, and deep ravines. This impenetrable terrain makes it the perfect hiding place for a lost treasure. The first known attempts to find the gold date back to the 16th and 17th centuries, when Spanish expeditions, driven by greed, tried to track Rumiñahui's route. Despite the allure of great wealth, these expeditions were often met with disaster. Many treasure hunters fell victim to treacherous terrain, tropical diseases, and hostile conditions. One of the most famous stories of a search for the treasure came from Valverde, a Spanish soldier who claimed to have received information from native sources and Incan descendants about the gold's location. Valverde later compiled a document known as Valverde's Derrotero, or Valverde's Guide. This document contained cryptic directions to the treasure's location, mentioning landmarks like 2 mountains shaped like sleeping women and a lake with a submerged stone fortress. These vague clues have both intrigued and frustrated treasure hunters for centuries, with no one ever managing to solve the guide's secrets fully. In 1850, a man named Antonio Pastor claimed he had followed Valverde's directions and discovered part of the treasure, a stash of intricately crafted gold and silver idols. He returned to the nearest settlement with some of the smaller items, which astonished everyone with their beauty and craftsmanship. However, Pastor was unable to return to the treasure's location, and after his death, his knowledge was lost. In the early 20th century, Richard Spruce, an English botanist, traveled to Ecuador and became obsessed with the lost treasure. Although he initially arrived to study the region's flora, he became captivated by the stories of the Inca gold and attempted to locate it. Like many before him, Spruce found the landscape too rugged and inhospitable to make any significant headway, and he ultimately abandoned the quest. The stories of treasure hunters who died or went missing in the search for the Inca gold are numerous, adding an element of danger and intrigue to the legend. In 1937, Colonel Percy Fawcett, a well-known British explorer whose obsession with lost cities eventually led to his mysterious disappearance in the Amazon, also became fascinated by the tale of the Langanetes treasure. He reportedly considered the lost gold of the Incas one of the most important lost treasures of the Americas, but he disappeared in Brazil before he could undertake any serious exploration in Ecuador. In recent years, expeditions using ground-penetrating radar and satellite imaging have attempted to uncover what lies beneath the jungle canopy and layers of earth, but so far, these efforts have not been successful. Some treasure hunters, like Eugenio Alarcon, have spent years in the Langanetes, returning empty-handed but convinced that the treasure is still out there. The mystery of the lost Inca gold has also become part of Ecuadorian folklore, with local guides often regaling tourists with tales of hidden gold while pointing towards the cloud-covered peaks of the Langonates. Even today, the promise of vast Inca riches hidden somewhere in the mountains inspires dreams of discovery. However, finding this treasure remains an incredibly challenging prospect, given the geographical difficulties, the unforgiving weather, and the inherent danger of the Langonates region. While the gold of Rumiñahui may forever remain one of the world's greatest mysteries, the legend of the lost Inca treasure is a reminder of the lengths people will go to in pursuit of fortune. It also symbolizes the determination of the Inca to protect their heritage from the invading Spaniards. The legend has inspired countless expeditions, and until the day the gold is found, or definitively proven not to exist, the Langonates will continue to hold their secrets, daring explorers to discover the unimaginable wealth hidden within their depths. Watch these videos next for even more intriguing tales.